Primary suspect Alias Kammah and 4 other individuals allegedly involved in the deadly Jolo church blast now under police custody. COMELEC to monitor social media pages used for political campaigning.
Sinasadya nila nga yun, yung mga kritiko. Actually, galing yan sa mga kalaban ni Presidente. Hindi sa ordinaryong tao.
Malacanang hits so-called scaremongers who are spreading false information about President Duterte's health.
Saying nothing, smart, always wanting.
And the top 8 wish coveries to face off in the grand finals on February 26. Good evening. 5 suspects in the Jolo Cathedral blast, including Alias Kammah, are now under police custody. But the Philippine National Police says the investigation into the deadly church explosion is still far from over. Dante Amento explains why.
The primary suspect in the deadly Jolo SULU church bombing yielded to authorities over the weekend, according to Philippine National Police Director General Oscar Albayalde. Kammah Alias Kammah, together with 4 individuals, surrendered due to the massive hot pursuit operations by the military and police in Patikul SULU. Kammah's cohorts were identified as Albaji Kisai Gajali alias Awag, Rajan Bakil Gajali alias Rajan, Kaisar Bakil Gajali alias Isal, and Salit Ali alias Papong. Albayalde says the 5 suspects were among the 22 members of Abu Sayyaf group, led by Hatib Hajan Sawadjaan, believed to have conspired to execute the attacks at Mount Carmel Cathedral on Sunday morning, January 27. The PNP chief confirmed the 3 ASG members were killed in relation to the incident, including the 2 Indonesian suicide bombers and Omal Usop, who was killed in a raid at Kammah's house. Based on the investigation, the Indonesian woman detonated the first bomb inside the cathedral, while the Indonesian man followed through by detonating the bomb outside the church. 14 other suspects, including the mastermind Sawadjaan, remain at large. Jolo Mayor Kirkartan is hoping that all perpetrators will be brought to justice and put behind bars.
So, sana mag-solve na para ma-solve na natin yung traffic dito sa bombing. Kasi yun ang hiningi ng taga-Jolo. Dapat masolve na sooner.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue, Zamboanga City.
An expert questions the seeming militarization of the government amid worst national security threats. Meanwhile, Ibon Foundation has also expressed concerns over the number of retired military men and policemen who head several government agencies. Eileen Cerudo explains why.
Ibon Foundation has recently published infographics on 69 former military men and policemen who are currently holding government positions. 50 of them came from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, while the remaining 19 are from the Philippine National Police. Almost half of them are placed in high government positions. This amid issues that there is militarization under President Rodrigo Duterte. With this, political strategist Malu Tiquia is questioning why the country remains to be under serious national security threats despite a number of retired military and police officials who are working in the government. Examples of such threats are the recent bombings in Jolo SULU and Zamboanga City.
Hindi ko kine-question yung capability nila. Ang kine-question ko lang, kung ang Pangulo ay surrounded by 63 retired military or police officers, siguro naman yung level of national security heightened alert at yung level of policing ay mas maangat.
Ibon Foundation, a non-profit research institution, is also concerned because several government positions should not be occupied by retired members of the military and police.
For example, doon sa kanilang na-occupy na 46 agencies, 6 lang doon sa agencies na yun are actually related to military. It's just like hiring someone na yung skills and experience niya ay hindi fit doon sa kanyang in-applyan na position.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has previously said he prefers to appoint former soldiers and police officers because they never question his decisions.
May sila militarization of the government. Correct! Muna gusto na ko sa sundalo. Nga naman, wala ko'y away sa bureaucracy. Pero ang bureaucracy, it will take you forever. Makigdebate pa nimo.
On this, Thio said,
Since naniniwala si Pangulo sa mabilis ang aksyon, kaagad nasusolusyonan, hindi nagbibigay ng problema, walang tanong-tanong, basta sinabi ko, gagawin. Ba't hindi magawa sa national security? Bakit imaginein mo, under martial law, pagkatapos may bomba?
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, is set to strictly monitor the social media campaign expenses of candidates in the May 2019 midterm elections. Based on the new COMELEC campaign rules, candidates must register all their websites and social media pages that they will use for campaigning. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, will strictly monitor the social media campaign expenses of candidates in the May 13 national and local elections. This will take effect once COMELEC Resolution number 10488 gets published. Under the said resolution, registered political parties and candidates shall register with the COMELEC's Education and Information Department the website name and web address of their official blog and/or social media page. Even other blogs or social media pages which endorse a candidate or are used for a candidate's campaign must be registered.
Ang ipaparegister nila yung mga websites na inaako nila as theirs. Pag hindi naman sa kanila, it will be treated a little differently, no? Pag claim mo yung website as yours, then one of the consequences of that is makikita natin ng mas madali yung ad spend from that account. Ad spend kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito eh. It's how much you paid the platform to basically push your message to other people. So it will be part of the cost.
COMELEC has included the social media to be monitored as it is one of the platforms used by candidates for their campaigns to encourage the public to vote for them. Meanwhile, COMELEC continues to remind candidates to take down their campaign posters and tarpaulins before the start of the campaign period. Candidates for senators and party list groups may start campaigning on February 12, 2019, while candidates for members of the House of Representatives and regional, provincial, city, and municipal officials will begin on March 29, 2019. Based on the campaign rules, campaign posters should not exceed 2 feet by 3 feet and must be posted within common poster areas only. For candidates or registered political parties for a national position, campaign advertisements must not exceed 120 minutes on television and 180 minutes on radio, while candidates for local elective positions are allowed to appear for not more than 60 minutes on TV and be a guest for 90 minutes on radio on a per-station basis. Candidates running under a political party may spend 3 pesos per voter, while candidates without a political party or without the support of a party may spend 5 pesos per voter. Political parties and party list groups are allowed to spend 5 pesos per voter.
Magsisimula na rin yung pagmimetro natin sa inyong mga commercial na lumalabas sa TV. Per station po yan. Ano? Pag lumampas tayo dyan, election offense po yun. Hindi naman automatic na sila ay ma-disqualify kaagad. May pagdadaan ng proseso yan. But certainly, marirecord natin at masisimulan kaagad yung proseso ng pagpo-prosecute ng ating electoral offense. No?
Aiko Miguel, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
Political aspirant lawyer Larry Gadon vows to push for reforms in the education system and to lower the price of electricity in the country if he wins on his bid to secure a Senate seat in the upcoming midterm polls. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Senatorial aspirant Attorney Lorenzo Larry Gadon wants to focus on lowering the price of electricity if elected to the Senate in the 2019 midterm polls. On the program Get It Straight with Daniel Brazon, Gadon said he wants the government to take control of the country's energy industry to prevent the private sector from manipulating it.
Dapat magtayo muli ang estado ng ating bansa ng mga facilities o ng mga sources of energy na direktang pamamahalaan ng gobyerno.
Gadon also intends to introduce reforms in the country's education system. He argued that free tuition is not enough and that the government should provide the books and manuals to students free of charge. The printing, Gadon said, should also be managed by the government instead of private publishing companies.
Magkano lang naman siguro yung mga books na ipiprint mo dyan, baka hindi pa umabot ng mga 2 billion yan para imprenta mo yung libreng libro para sa mga estudyante.
Gadon supports the administration in various issues such as the extension of martial law in Mindanao, the revival of death penalty, and the proposed shift to federal form of government. The lawyer is confident that he will win the upcoming election. Gadon has been vocal about his opposition to election surveys, saying such polls are being used to condition the minds of the public that only popular candidates can be elected.
With what you're saying, nakikita mo na this will be translated into votes.
Yes.
Kaya kung sakali na matatalo ka, parang ang nosyon mo kagad, dinaya ka.
Kasi ang iba kasi yung lumapit sa'yo at nagsasabing kusa na iboboto ka namin. Kaysa yung ikaw lalapit pupunta sa tao, magpapagawa ka ng rally at sasabihin mo na iboto nyo ako. Hindi, ito baliktad eh. Sila yung lumalapit para sabihin nila sa akin na iboboto nila ako.
Gadon made it to country's headlines when he spearheaded the ouster of former Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Duterte administration has no plans of suing those who spread fake news about President Duterte's health. This is following rumors on the alleged death of the president that circulated online during the weekend. Let's find out why from Rosalie Cos.
Administration will just let those who spread wrong information about the health of President Rodrigo Duterte. This is Malacanang's response when asked if the government will file charges against those who spread false information about the chief executive.
Ordinary na yan eh. We're used to that anyway, so let it be.
Malacanang noted that such fake news are the machinations of the administration's critics, but the palace expressed confidence that majority of the Filipinos remain in support of the Duterte administration.
Sinasadya nila nga yun, yung mga kritiko. Actually, galing yan sa mga kalaban ni Presidente, hindi sa ordinaryong tao.
A report on the alleged death of the president circulated on social media during the weekend, calls for the possible takeover of Vice President Leni Robredo. In response to the hoax, Duterte's partner Hanilet Avancenia posted a video of the president to clarify the rumors.
Ago.
For those who believe in the news that I passed away, then I request of you, please pray for the eternal repose of my soul. Thank you.
Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea asserted that the president is doing fine. Presidential spokesperson Panelo also assured that the president's health is in good condition and that he just needed some rest in preparation for another busy schedule this week. Malacanang also insisted that the president remains conscientious of his health and he takes a break from his activities if he feels it is necessary. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
3 more singing hopefuls will move to the grand finals after surviving the intense knockout round in the Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song. Leslie Longboan tells us why.
The camps of Filipino singer-songwriters participating in the second edition of Wishcovery have all unveiled their bets for the grand finals of the first online singing competition in the Philippines produced by Wish 1075. 3 more Wishcoveries were handpicked to compete in the final night after surviving the intense knockout battle held over the weekend. These are Angelica Bermoy from Camp Boy Christopher,
I'm so blessed and thankful to represent the camp boy Christopher. For Tagum City, my hometown, please support me and pray for me always na mapagtagumpayan ko po ang competition na ito.
Tweety Salas from Camp Noel Cabangon.
Ikot lang, paikot-ikot lang. Pinaikot, paikot-ikot lang. Ikot-ikot, paikot-ikot lang. Ikot-ikot, ikot-ikot.
Binibigyan niyo po ng chance yung artists all around the Philippines to be seen and to be heard. Kasi po, once you're in your own cities, mahirap pong makapasok sa music scene, mahirap pong umangat sa music scene. Thank you so much, Wish 107.
And Paula Guevara from Camp Moy Ortiz.
Content with saying nothing. Smiles are always wanting. Though deep inside it hurts because we know.
Wish 107.5, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity na may i-share or may bahagi sa lahat yung talent na meron po kami. Hindi siya madali, pero talagang matututo ka, lalo na sa journey ng Wish cover.
The three will join 5 other grand finalists who were named earlier last week, starting with Jemmy Picardal from Camp Rani Raimundo, Rhea Basco from Camp Junji Marcelo, Nashreen Casas representing Camp Top Suzara, Ana Ginsisana from Camp Veni Saturno, and Wishcovery USA winner Audrey Arellano, who will represent Camp Odette Quesada. The top 8 will sing original songs created by their respective Wishcover songwriters. Videos of their performances will be uploaded on Wish 107.5 YouTube channel with power viewing, commencing on February 18 at 12 noon until February 25. The Wishcovery home concert of each grand finalist will precede the final battle on February 26 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on One News. Scores of freshwater sardine called tawilis surface on the Taal Lake. AFP Cavaliers and the PNP responders bags their first semi-final win at the UNTV Cup Season 7. And the 2018 Miss Universe Catriona Gray graces first red carpet event of the year at the NFL Honors. Thank you for keeping me company in the first part of One News. More reasons behind the stories with Angelo Castro III and William Thio after this quick break. I'm Rheena, Villamor-Camara. Good evening.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up from where Rheena Villamor-Camara left off. I'm Angelo Castro III, and here are the headlines. The ENR to close off Manila Bay as swimming remains unsafe. President Rodrigo Duterte transfers Philippine Reclamation Authority to his office. And Senate President Vicente Soto III insists having a reenacted budget remains the best option to break the standoff between the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources is planning to close off Manila Bay in the remaining course of its rehabilitation after tourists started to crowd the formerly trash-filled seaside promenade along Rojas Boulevard. Meanwhile, the lower house is eyeing to launch an inquiry on the alleged delays in the building of Maynilad and Manila Water's water treatment facilities. Grace Casin tells us why.
Just a week following the massive cleanup drive in Manila Bay, local and foreign tourists began to flock to the formerly trashed-filled, neglected baywalk along Rojas Boulevard. Families can now spread their picnic mats on the sand and wait to capture the iconic sunset by the bay. Some couldn't resist the enticing water and would carelessly plunge into the bay. But despite the enjoyment of the visiting public, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources maintained that swimming in Manila Bay is not yet recommended, as its water quality is still far from safe levels. The agency plans to place warning signages and fences around the Bay Area to prevent public from swimming.
Malinaw po sinasabi namin, bawal pa po mag-swimming dyan.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Metro Manila Development is set to probe the alleged failure of two concessionaires, Manila Water and Maynilad, to build enough water treatment facilities. During a hearing at the lower house, Buhay Party List Representative Lito Atienza claimed that the two water concessionaires have been collecting fees from its consumers to build the facilities for 21 years now. However, Atienza noted that the two firms were only able to build 20 facilities within 2 decades. The lawmaker believes this is one of the causes of pollution in Manila Bay.
21 years ago have passed. Have you been collecting from consumers of your water?
Your Honor, ang commitment po namin is to complete 100% in 2037.
The committee has directed Manila Water, Maynilad, and the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System to present documents stating the amount collected from the consumers for the supposed water treatment facility project. The House panel warns to cite these offices in contempt if they fail to submit the said documents. Grace Castin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
President Rodrigo Duterte transfers the Philippine Reclamation Authority, or PRA, to the Office of the President through Executive Order No. 74. He also delegates to the PRA Governing Board the power of the President to approve reclamation projects. Malacanang says the recent action is according to the discretion of the President to streamline the processes in various government agencies. However, the palace denied speculations that this is directly connected to the speeding up the reclamation project in Manila Bay.
Not necessarily. Si Presidente naman, basta gusto niya palaging compliant with the law. Ayaw niya ng braswan, ayaw niya ng palakasan, palaging kung ano yung batas, sundin na lang natin.
Residents in Cuenca, Batangas feasted on tawilis after scores of the said freshwater sardine surfaced on Taal Lake. Meanwhile, authorities are set to implement a closed fishing season for tawilis beginning next week. Mirasol Abogadil tells us why.
An estimated 2,000 kilograms of dead tawilis floated on the waters of the lakeshore town of Cuenca in Batangas on Saturday. Residents feasted and got as much tawilis as they could, even though some were already dead. According to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, it was caused by algal bloom.
Nagkaroon ng duong yung phenomenon siya na nagkakaroon ng bloom ng algal bloom. So yun po, apektuhan yung tawilis, kaya nanabi yung mga tawilis.
BFAR 4A Regional Director Wilfredo Cruz clarified, however, that it is not harmful to eat dead tawilis if it is still fresh.
Pwede naman po yun. Ang kuha naman po yun, ang cause naman nun yung algal bloom. Hindi naman po kuha sa tao yun eh. Basta yung bagong huli lang po. Bagong patay lang. Kasi siyempre, kung matagal na siya, hindi na siya big kainin dahil matagal na siyang patay.
It is during the months of April and May that thousands of tawilis would float on the surface of Taal Lake, but this time, residents are barred from harvesting them. Starting next week, the closed fishing season for tawilis will commence to give way for the reproduction of the only freshwater sardines in the world, exclusive only to the Philippines. Mirasol Abogadil, UNTV News and Rescue.
A consumer group believes that now is the time to impose the suggested retail price on poultry products. Meanwhile, prices of vegetables in the market had slightly increased. Monokson tells us why.
The government must not wait for the prices of chicken and pork in the local market to increase before they implement the suggested retail price, or SRP, these products. This is the call of a consumer group on the Department of Agriculture. Vic Dimagiba, the president of the Laban Consumer Group, said it is better to implement the SRP now so that there is proof of how low the current prices are. As of today, the price of chicken meat per kilogram in the local market is 120 to 130 pesos, while pork is sold at 180 to 220 pesos per kilogram. The farm gate price of chicken is only 65 to 70 pesos, while that of pork is 97 to 126 pesos. Dimagiba said retailers only add 50 to 60 pesos, that is why the market price is just right.
Ang paggalaw po ng presyo sa panahon nito, hindi na natin mawawala yung impact na excise taxes, no? Kaya yon talagang may impact yon sa presyo. Ay po matagal na nagmungkahi na ipataw na po SRP kasi maganda ang presyo at this is the best time to impose SRP dahil hindi po sila mahihirapan sa pagpapatupad nito.
The proposal to implement the SRP on chicken and pork is still pending in the Department of Agriculture. Meanwhile, the prices of vegetables have slightly increased in several markets in Metro Manila. One reason, according to retailers, is the frost in Benguet Province, one of the major producers of upland vegetables in the country. However, prices also depend on where the vegetables are bought. Here is a list of the prices of vegetables in Kamuning Market, Commonwealth Market, Mega Q-Mart, and a supermarket as of today. A kilogram of tomato costs 60 pesos in Kamuning, 40 pesos in Commonwealth, 35 pesos in Mega Q-Mart, and 90 pesos in the supermarket. 1 kilogram of broccoli is sold at 150, 85, 130, and 92 pesos. A sayote is sold at 70, 50, 60, and 70 pesos per kilogram, while a piece of radish costs 70, 40, 50, and 80 pesos per kilogram. Cabbage costs 50, 40, 45, and 95 pesos. Baguio Pechay is sold at 60, 30, 40, and 75 pesos. Eggplants cost 70, 50, 40, and 130, while carrots cost at 60, 40, 50, and 85 pesos per kilogram. For some consumers, the price of vegetables is still high.
Kaya dati yung budget ko sa gulay, 50 pesos. Ngayon, 100 na. Sa buong araw.
Mamatay na mga tao sa gutom. Wala, hindi nagbabago.
As for poultry products, a kilogram of chicken meat in Kamuning Market costs 130 pesos, 120 in Mega Q-Mart and in Commonwealth Market, and 125 in Supermarket, while a kilogram of pork costs 200 in Kamuning Market, 190 in Mega Q-Mart and in Commonwealth, and 220 pesos in supermarkets. Galunggong or round scad costs 180, 160, 140, and 220 pesos. Milkfish costs 170, 190, 160, and 240 pesos per kilogram, while tilapia costs 110 in Kamuning, 100 pesos in Mega Q-Mart and in Commonwealth Market, and 158 in supermarkets. According to consumer groups, the public has the freedom to choose where to buy meat and vegetables, as there are no substantial difference in the prices among the markets in Metro Manila. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The government will still be operating under a reenacted budget until July. Nel Maribuhok tells us why.
The Bicameral Conference Committee is still in apparent deadlock over the passage of the 3.75 trillion national budget. The Congress has only up to Wednesday before both chambers of Congress go on break. According to Senate President Vicente Soto III, they may not be able to ratify the budget before the session break.
Ang mangyayari, kung hindi sila magkakasundo at saka meron naman panibagong hinihingi naman ngayon ata for 2018 ng House, talagang mangyayari dyan, mapupunta ng reenacted budget siya. Now, if it's reenacted, I believe that the Executive Department might be able to do legal means to be able to continue with the services of government ng kahit reenacted siya.
Soto added that the budget could possibly be ratified in July under the new leadership of the House. But for Senate Committee on Finance Chairperson Loren Legarda, the BICAM has already agreed to finalize the proposed budget on Friday. Meanwhile, Malacanang is hopeful that the Congress may still find ways to finalize the budget before the session break.
Tingin mo, wala pa naman. 3 days pa naman, di pa naman nag-adjourn. tingnan natin. Let's just wait.
In connection with this, Executive Secretary Salvador Medeldea in a statement said the President is aware of the status of the budget in the BICAM and expressed dismay over the delay in the passage of the budget. The BICAM is going through continuous heated debates on the budget. This is due to the alleged pork barrel insertions in the lower house, wherein Senator Panfilo Lacson has alleged that House leaders allocated 160 million pork barrel fund to each congressman. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The Philippine National Police calls on the public to remain vigilant as the Filipino-Chinese community prepares to celebrate the Chinese Spring Festival on Tuesday. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
It's all systems go for the celebration of the Chinese New Year in Binondo, Manila on Tuesday. At least 1 million people from the Filipino-Chinese community are expected to join the event, also called Chinese Spring Festival, set to be highlighted by fireworks displays in a Divisoria Mall to welcome the new year. A parade is also set in Manila, where 20 to 30 giant floats will be showcased. Police assure they have mapped out their security coverage, but they are yet to monitor any possible threat against the event.
Ang reference natin yung mga nangyari sa SULU at sa Zamboanga na mayroong mga IED bombings doon. So hindi natin dinidiscount yung mga pangyayaring yun. So dahil medyo malaki din yung celebration dito, so nag-deploy tayo ng maximum deployment.
However, authorities have urged the public to remain vigilant and to immediately report any suspicious persons or things.
Tingnan din po natin yung kapaligiran natin, tumulong po tayo sa law enforcement. Kung may nakikita po tayong sa tingin natin kahina-hinala yung tao, ipagbigay alam po agad sa kapulisan natin.
The Philippine National Police also eyes to augment the more than 400 police personnel that are deployed to closely monitor the security around Chinatown.
Bawat entrance po, bawat entrance gates, bawat pasukan ng mga malls, ng business establishments, may police po silang kasama doon. So, expect natin na yung inspection ng mga bags natin, backpacks, the usual, yung mga colored canisters na hindi natin nakikita yung loob, talagang i-inspectin yun.
February 5 has already been declared a special non-working holiday in the Philippines through Proclamation number 555 issued by President Rodrigo Duterte. Classes in private and public schools across the country on Tuesday are also suspended. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The AFP Cavaliers and PNP responders sustained their impressive showings at the start of the semifinals of the UNTV Cup Season 7. Here's why from Vincent Arboleda.
The UNTV Cup Season 7 kicked off its best-of-3 semifinal series with explosive matches at the Pasig City Sports Center on Sunday. The AFP Cavaliers collided with the NHA Builders in the first game, with the latter deploying a run-and-gun tactic at the start of the match to record a 6-point early edge against AFP's 14 points in the first quarter. But Cavaliers' Boyd Bautista turned the tables in the second quarter by firing 9 points and another 6 in the next quarter to outscore the NHA. The Builders tried to snatch back the lead in the last quarter, but the AFP fired all its cylinders to block the NHA until the final buzzer sounded. The first game ended with a final score of 78-76 in favor of the AFP, thanks to Jerry Lumungsod's moves, ably supported by Bautista and Eze Rosopa. The three were hailed as the best player of the game after firing a combined 36 points.
I salute my players. I also give credit to NHA. It's a hard-fought game. Yung NHA, medyo maganda rin yung ginawa nila adjustment. Pero unfortunately, buti, bandang uli, nakapag-adjust kami na maayos.
The PNP responders are likewise off to a great start after routing Season 6 champion Senate Defenders 79-74. Alan Umiping and Jerry Boy Saracho led the PNP to bagging its first semifinal victory by firing a total of 35 points. The responders narrowly defeated the Senate after the latter boosted its place in the third and last quarter to snap PNP's early edge. but Saracho's consecutive 3-point shots and Anton Tolentino's 2 free throws in the last part of the game helped the PNP to spur on to victory.
Foul trouble, so medyo nag-collapse ng ibang teammates ko, pero still, composure, sabi ko, game plan, nangyayari nung pinractice natin. So, luckily and thankful kami, hindi bumigay ng mga teammates ko at
yung will to win. We're up by 12, tapos suddenly we're down, diba? So dapat pagka ganun, killer instinct, ibaon pa namin dapat.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A group of political figure lookalikes are hoping to bring more impersonators into the industry after the doppelgangers of President Rodrigo Duterte and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un took Hong Kong by storm. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
Kim Jong-un is not only the leader of North Korea, but Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's agent, according to his Hong Kong-based impersonator. Kim lookalike Howard X and his new talent, Duterte impersonator known as Crescencio Extreme, were surrounded by crowds of excited, selfie-snapping Filipinos on Sunday as they walked around town smiling, waving, and also eating at a fast food outlet. Crescencio Extreme normally works as a civil servant in the Philippines and describes himself as an admirer of the Philippine president. He's now undergoing training to master key phrases and expressions.
He promised he won in the election because of the promises that he will eliminate drugs, corruption. So that is why, and then he did it. That is why the Filipino people loves him and considered him as a hero.
Howard X hopes to bring more political figure impersonators into the industry to join people like himself and his Donald Trump lookalike friend who created havoc in Singapore ahead of the first Trump-Kim summit last year.
Things that you have to learn to become an impersonator is that you must learn a lot about the history and the current political climate. You know, everything, all the facts in relation to that country and the person that you impersonate. And you need to be updated all the time to the latest news. And second of all, of course, you need to look like the person and try to just get the mannerisms, at least, if you don't speak. But if you're able to speak, you know, even better.
According to Howard X, the most successful impersonators of political figures can make as much as $15,000 for a single appearance. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News.
In all the years that I've been here, 18 years, I've never seen it up this far.
Australia's Queensland flooding worsens with dam release. New England Patriots win Super Bowl 53 with grinding 13-3 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. And 2018 Miss Universe Catriona Gray graces first red carpet event of the year at the NFL Honors. And those are the reasons behind the stories in the second part of our newscast. Y News returns with William Thio. I'm Angelo Castro III. Good evening.